Dave Lombardo wasn't just another drummer in the metal scene. He defined what speed and aggression sounded like behind the kit. As the powerhouse of Slayer, Lombardo's thunderous double bass and chaotic fills became the heartbeat of thrash metal. But when people called him the inventor of the blast beat, he didn't just smile and take credit. Instead, he pointed backward to those who came before. "They did everything first," Lombardo once said, reminding fans that even revolutionary sounds have roots buried deep in rock's underground. His humility shocked fans, but his truth opened a window into how thrash evolved faster and wilder than anyone expected. The blast beat became the soundtrack of chaos in extreme metal, a machine gun rhythm that felt both primal and futuristic. But according to Lombardo, it wasn't born in the thrash scene of the 1980s. It was already there, hidden in the jazz drumming of the 60s and the punk fury of the late 70s. "People think I invented it," he said, "but I just played what I felt." Early drummers like Billy Cobham and even jazz legends like Buddy Rich had flirted with rapid snare patterns decades earlier. Lombardo simply took that energy, amplified it through Slayer's wall of guitars, and turned it into something apocalyptic. When Slayer entered the studio for Rain in Blood, no one expected the storm that was coming. Lombardo was pushing his drums beyond human limits, experimenting with tempo and control. Angel of Death became a test of endurance. Producer Rick Rubin encouraged Lombardo to go faster, much faster. The result was a terrifyingly precise explosion of rhythm that changed metal forever. Fans and drummers couldn't believe it was possible for a human to play that fast. But Lombardo wasn't chasing speed for speed's sake. He was chasing emotion, intensity, and chaos, and he found it. While thrash metal often gets credit for inventing speed and aggression, Lombardo never forgot punk's influence. Growing up in Southern California, he absorbed the raw energy of bands like Black Flag, The Germs, and Dead Kennedys. "Those guys were wild," he said. "They didn't care about perfection, they cared about passion." When Lombardo brought that punk energy into Slayer's precise metal assault, something new was born. The result was thrash, technical, furious, and emotionally unfiltered. In many ways, thrash wasn't just metal played faster, it was punk played better. What shocked Lombardo most wasn't the speed or heaviness of thrash, it was how deep its roots went. "We thought we were inventing something new," he laughed. "But when I listened back to older bands, I realized they already had that fire." He pointed to Motorhead, Venom, and even Deep Purple as early examples of raw speed and aggression. These bands didn't have the modern production or precision, but the spirit was already there. Lombardo realized thrash wasn't a rebellion, it was an evolution. Inside Slayer, competition fueled innovation. Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman were writing riffs that demanded impossible drumming, and Lombardo delivered every time. "They'd show me a riff, and I'd think, how do I make this even scarier?" he said. The band's chemistry was built on pushing each other harder. That tension, both musical and personal, created their signature sound. It wasn't about being the best, it was about outdoing themselves with every song. That internal fire made Slayer untouchable in their prime. Over the years, drummers debated who really invented the blast beat. Some credit Napalm Death or Mick Harris from the grindcore scene. Others point to Lombardo or early hardcore bands. Lombardo never claimed ownership. "Music evolves because people borrow and build," he explained. He respected every drummer who came after, from Pete Sandoval to Tomas Hayek, for taking his ideas further. For Lombardo, the blast beat wasn't a trophy. It was a tool, and tools, he believed, belong to everyone who knows how to use them. When Lombardo parted ways with Slayer multiple times, fans worried his legacy might fade. Instead, he expanded it. From suicidal tendencies to testament to his avant-garde projects, Lombardo proved he was more than just the Slayer drummer. He played with groove, jazz, and Latin influences, constantly reinventing his sound. "I'm still learning," he said decades later. The blast beat may have made him famous, but his open-mindedness made him timeless. Thrash metal's speed has now reached unimaginable levels, but Lombardo sees that as part of progress. "Every generation goes faster," he said, But sometimes, faster isn't heavier. He admired drummers who could balance power and feel. To him, true heaviness wasn't about tempo, it was about emotion. When a drummer hits that snare like their life depends on it, that's metal. Lombardo believed intensity came from the heart, not the metronome. Today, Dave Lombardo stands as one of the most influential drummers in history, not because he claimed to invent anything, but because he inspired everyone to try. His humility and honesty reshaped how people see innovation in music. They did everything first, he said, but what he really did was make people listen differently. From underground punk clubs to sold-out arenas, his drumming became a language of rebellion. And that language still echoes, loud, fast, and alive. Recording with Slayer was never a calm experience. Lombardo revealed that the studio felt more like a battlefield than a workspace. "We didn't play it safe. We wanted danger in the sound," he said. Rick Rubin's production on Rain in Blood captured that danger perfectly, raw, sharp, and alive. But what most fans don't know is how much Lombardo relied on instinct, not planning. He never counted bars or practiced to a click. He played by feel. "If I think too much, I lose it," he explained. His hands became weapons of instinct, each strike unpredictable but precise. The studio engineers were stunned at his endurance. Between takes, Lombardo would dip his hands in ice water just to keep going. That level of commitment, pain, sweat, and obsession made Rain in Blood sound like the apocalypse on tape. Every hit was real. Every second was earned. When Lombardo rejoined Slayer in the early 2000s after years apart, fans felt the earth shake again. "It was like coming home to a family that fought but still loved each other," he said. The reunion wasn't about nostalgia. It was about unfinished business. Songs like Disciple and Jihad proved Lombardo could still dominate the drums with terrifying precision. But this time, he brought more maturity and groove. "I learned to leave space," he said. His drumming wasn't just fast anymore. It was smart. Fans noticed that even the silences hit hard. Lombardo had evolved from a young firebrand into a master craftsman, still ferocious, but now wiser. His second Slayer era reminded everyone that legends never fade. They adapt, grow, and come back harder. After decades of pounding drums across genres and continents, Dave Lombardo has one message. Music isn't about who did it first, it's about who did it with heart. He no longer cares about credit or titles. To him, innovation means courage, the courage to break rules, to fail, to try something new. "You can't plan to change music," he said. "You just have to love it enough to push it forward." Lombardo's journey from Cuban immigrant to global icon proves that passion can outlast fame. Today, whether he's playing with Testament, Misfits, or his experimental trio, he still plays with the same fury he had at 18. The blast beat, the chaos, the speed, it's all still there. But now, it carries wisdom. Lombardo didn't just shape metal drumming. He taught generations that the loudest sound in music isn't the drum itself, it's the heart behind it.